Many people will tell you to, trust yourself, accept yourself, love yourself. But what does that even mean? How do you do that when no one has taught you how, and you haven't felt very loving and accepting towards yourself lately or ever? So how? How does it look like to love yourself, to accept yourself? And I think the problem as well is that many of us think that to love ourselves and accept ourselves, we need to be a perfect human being. We cannot have flaws. We cannot have low emotions. We should have our lives together. Then we can accept ourselves. But that's not how it works. And that's not the case of how people who love themselves actually get to love themselves. And this morning, I was talking to myself, I guess to my inner me or my higher self. This energy that lives inside of me was asking me to define, what do I want? It was telling me, for me to help you, and if you want me to help you manifest your dreams and your desires, you need to tell me what you want. And then I was saying, well, I don't know. It replied, so you need to know. You have to know. Otherwise, it cannot come true. Besides, you do know. The only thing you have to do is accept that you do know. And is accept that what you want, it's what you want. And it was in that point of the conversation when I took out the tarot cards, shuffled them, and the number 6, the Lovers from the Major Arcana, came out. And by looking at this card, I realized that my problem was that I was not embracing my desires. When I looked at this card, I actually thought it was the Devil card. And then I was like, no, number 6 is the Lovers. But why does it look like the snake tempting the girl, right? I went back to the story of the Garden of Eden. This card talked to me about sins, not about love. And then, I don't know if you can see it properly, but the snake is hugging the girl. And so that's when I understood that the trick was for me to accept what I really wanted. And at that point, I let myself accept and I let myself wish for that which I want to experience. And at the beginning, it was hard because my mind was telling me that was vanity. It was my ego, the one who wanted to experience those things. Usually, when that happens, what I do internally is try to justify why do I want that, but the good part of it, I try to rearrange what I actually want or desire. This time, I try not to do that. This time I was like, okay, yes, you're right. You got me. That's what I want. It is vanity. It is a little bit egoic, but it is what it is. I do want to experience that. And this inner light inside of me just said to me, perfect, then you will experience that. And not only that, let me tell you that which you desire, you already have. You are already experiencing what you want to experience. And not in a metaphoric way, thinking about timelines and projecting yourself in the reality you desire. No, very much here, today, in your current life, in your current circumstances, that which you desire, you are already experiencing. You already have it. And it started to show me all of the instances, the situations, and the people who were fulfilling the desire I already had. And I realized that it was right. This inner spark was telling the truth. For a very long time, if not all of my life, I have been experiencing that which I wish to experience. The only reason I didn't realize that was the case is because I was trying to negate that's what I wanted, just because it felt like arrogance, like ego, like vanity, like that was not the right way, that I shouldn't wish for that. But in that moment this morning, I was just okay with it. I was just okay with receiving that, being that person that can receive those things, and just I accepted that that was me with those wishes, vanity or not. I have them. And the only thing that was preventing me from actually enjoying them and experiencing more of that, and probably also leaving them behind if I wanted to overcome my ego and my vanity, it was just me refusing to accept my desire and to accept the embodiment of my desire. Because it was already happening, whether I liked it or not. It was already here. And I liked it. But I was rejecting it because I was embarrassed of how much I wanted that and convinced that I shouldn't want those things. So that's an example of how self-acceptance works. You don't change yourself. You don't change your desires. You accept yourself the way you are. You accept the desires you currently have because they won't go. And also there is nothing wrong with them. Even if they are really dark, you are probably also living a little bit of them, a part of it, the part you let in. So if you already have it, if you're already experiencing it, at least a tiny bit of it, then why don't you enjoy it? Probably after you indulge yourself in your wishes and your desires, you might be able to overcome them and leave them behind. Many times the energies that we contain, whether good or bad, they just want to be seen, acknowledged, and experienced for them to go, to continue on their way, so that new experiences, emotions, and desires can come through us. Now, this is an encouragement to embrace yourself and your desires as they come. But just take note that embracing your desires should not include hurting other people or stepping on top of somebody else so that you can reach them. If your wish involves hurting someone else, whether physically or emotionally or mentally, then you need to revise the origin, the root of that desire. Why do you wish that? And work on that root. The desires of the soul never wish to hurt anybody. So if you do wish for that, it's not your soul, your essence, or your inner light who wants that. And not because the inner light or the inner spark is all goodness all the time. It is everything. It is the yin and the yang. But because it's everything, but because it's complete, it's whole, it will never choose to consciously hurt somebody else. So if you do wish for that, you need to find the reason why. You need to find the source. Where is your desire coming from? And address that first before you can move on materializing or personifying the energy and the essence of that desire. And still, even if your wish and desire involves hurting somebody else, even then, you should embrace yourself within that desire. You should accept the fact that you wish to cause harm to somebody else, not to act on it, okay? It's two different things. The accepting of the self does not require changing or modifications. You can accept the things just as they are. You don't have to act on them. But just by accepting, acknowledging, and accepting that something within you wants to cause harm, that is enough for that thing, that energy, to start to leave your body, to start to leave your energy and your consciousness without having to act on it. Be very careful with those desires, because it won't only hurt somebody else, it will also hurt you. And we don't want that. We don't want to be causing more and more damage, more and more hurt to this world. And we are part of the world. So whatever the case is your case, do try to work on accepting your desires and yourself just as you are, but be careful on acting on that if it's not on your best interest and the people around you. The desires I had, and I acknowledged this morning, they do involve other people, but the embodiment of my desire didn't require for me to perform any action. All I had to do was just be, because the energy is already in me. And the embodiment of that desire will bring to me that which I wish. So my embodiment, my wish fulfillment did not require an active action from myself beyond the embodiment of my energy and my desire. And the embodiment means allowing that energy, that desire to flow through me. So that's why the invitation is for you to do work on self-acceptance and the development of consciousness so that the desire can present itself without effort, regardless of what it is, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. Accepting ourselves with our current flaws, with our current state of being, will always be in our benefit and in the benefit of the greatest good, in the benefit of the world, in the benefit of society. So this is an open invitation for you to work on self-acceptance, to see what happens, to see how that action changes your life, so that you can see how you benefit from that embodiment and from that acceptance. And later on, when many of us do this, we will see how this acceptance of the self has the power to change the world.